Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to be here. It's always wonderful to be in Athens, and it's always wonderful, and particularly now that I have my year in the sunshine as chairman of the Baltic Exchange Council, to be at such a well-attended networking event. And from the Baltic Exchange perspective, we're particularly enthusiastic to be here because we have so many loyal friends and members in Athens, and the Greek ship-owning community in particular have been wonderful friends to the Baltic over the years. So I'm here today, I think, to give you a brief update on what the Baltic's up to at the moment. Still a London-based organisation. A little over a year ago, of course, we had a transaction and went from being a members' organisation owned by members to being a membership organisation owned by the Singapore Exchange Group. But the Baltic continues to be a vibrant membership organisation. And as chairman of the council, as you'll see a bit later, we have a system for continuing to engage in the community. So where are we now? We have around 630 global members and 2,500 individual members. And over the last year, our membership increased, and particularly it increased in Asia, which was a wonderful thing, and we look forward to continuing to increase our footfall around the globe so that we are a truly global organization. And the governance of the Baltic Exchange Council is concerned with the monitoring of the international advisory councils who put together our indices and so forth, but more about that later. So we're the leading source of independent maritime data, and that's based on the assessments from our panel of brokers and used globally by shipbrokers, owners and operators and traders. And later this morning, I'll be talking to you with my SSY Futures hat on about how those indices are used in the forward freight agreement market. So our word, our bond, I think, symbolizes the importance of ethics in international trading. And the most important aspect of that is the Baltic Code, which we are reworking at the moment and will be updated and relaunched shortly. And that will reflect new rules from IOSCO, who are the international organization for publishers of securities indices. But it's a code of best practice and adopted throughout our membership. And another a small notice of what's almost been a cottage industry which has been very successful recently. The Baltic Exchange also have a free dispute resolution service for their membership. But we are now expanding that for non-members as well, due to its great success. And it's important to note that you can, rather like a sort of breakdown service, have roadside assistance, and at the time of joining, if you want to come in to have assistance with dispute resolution, you can actually join us. And so it's a very enticing way to become a member of the Baltic, and we see our membership increasing on the back of that. And we're also starting a new partnership with InfoSpectrum, so that will increase the importance, I think, of the Baltic membership. Non-performance, people who let down our membership ultimately would face the sanction of posting. And so it is a very compelling and successful system. And on the membership side, we have, as well as regular briefings, a recent successful one was on our sulfur cap event, but we also have associations around the world, the Young Baltic Sailing, Baltic Wine Society, and these are excellent opportunities for people to engage within their industry. And we feel a very important part of our membership profile and the way we engage with the market. And of course, FFA marketing, and I'll talk more about that later with my other hat on. And of course, we also have our historic building in London. So for an overseas member of the Baltic coming to London, there are facilities there which are also an attractive benefit. I guess the most important part of our offering really are our indices. We are the world's largest publisher of freight market data, and we now provide that data almost around the clock, starting in Asia and working through into European hours from 6 in the morning to 5 at night. Baltic indices are being published. And they form the basis not only of the derivatives market, but increasingly transactions within the physical market as well. And the panelists, importantly, are independent brokers. They make their route assessments, those are checked and then published by the Baltic. And again, some new information. We're working now on an LNG indices, and that is going into trial, and will be beginning in March this year on a weekly assessment. And we'll also be publishing a new LPG route from Houston to Chiba. And the Panamax, excuse me, sorry, Panamax grain routes. So the Panamax for many years has been a time charter index, but we'll now be incorporating these new voyage routes. And also a new service, the escrow service, which we plan to provide to people involved in S&P transactions. That will be based from Singapore and will be a competitively priced service and another benefit of membership. So I think the most important thing to say today really is that the Baltic is a growing and vital organization and the lead membership organization for the global shipping community. And we're very enthusiastic to maintain that through the Baltic Exchange Council, which I'm fortunate to be the chair of. And that is a council which is populated by members of the shipping community. We have the Index Council, who are responsible for producing our independent indices. They're regulated by IOSCO and independently assess and add new products to the maritime community. We have our membership council, and then our advisory councils. And these are reaching out into our industry. And we now have these new councils, the Baltic Asia Advisory Council and the European Advisory Council on the dry and tanker side, and soon a new US Council. And we're enthusiastic to increase the profile of those council members and to increase our engagement with the trading community. So please all, if you have enthusiasm for your industry, if you want to engage, if you have views on what vessel types and descriptions we should be using, and what routes should be being priced. This is a new opportunity to engage with. It's an additional layer of engagement with our membership, so we're enthusiastic about that. So thank you very much. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible during this very exciting event, and I'll be talking to you later about my own specific area, forward freight agreements, but for now, thank you very much.